People always have high expectations for geniuses, and that also applies to our protagonist. Looking at our protagonist, a girl told her friend, "He's the genius of their college." She heard he mastered all the advanced spy programs of every profession, and he looks pretty good too. Today, he'll definitely switch to a powerful job class. Her friend also agrees with her, saying, "Of course he will. Someone like him will definitely awaken a powerful job class. And when that happens, she will confess her feelings to him." Well, before we continue, you guys should know the backstory of this world. 100 years ago, the world was invaded by games. All sorts of monsters appeared, and people began awakening skills. The fate facing humanity is one by one. Switch stations, fight monsters, level up, or else there is only death. And geniuses always attract attention at such times. Their abilities determine the fate of humanity. And today is Job Class Transfer Day. Our protagonist is very happy that finally, the moment has arrived. His name is Jiang Li. 18 years ago, he crossed over to this world. With exceptional talent, he has been tirelessly learning various abilities. He has only one goal, to become the absolute strongest. He's status that 4 classes are suitable for him. In warrior combat skills, he is excellent. In mage combat skills, he is excellent. In assassin combat skills, he is excellent. And in advanced combat skills, he is excellent. Everyone is expecting that such excellent talent is sure to awaken a hidden job class. Well, jobs are divided into basic jobs, advanced jobs, and hidden jobs. The strength of jobs and the difficulty of awakening increase in sequence, especially for hidden jobs. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, awakening to obtain overwhelming power. The principal of his school tells everyone that Jiang Li's future is boundless. Of course, being too outstanding will always attract jealousy and dissatisfaction from some people. When Jiang Li was going into the awakening grounds, he was stopped by his bully classmates. They called Jiang Li a highly anticipated genius. The leader of those bully classmates is Yan Shu. Looking down on Jiang Li, Yan Shu asks him what advanced job class he is planning to awaken today. Yan Shu is from the Golden Domain, one of the 3 geniuses of their Golden Domain Academy. His father is a powerful golden class practitioner. But everywhere on campus, Jiang Li is always one step ahead. Jiang Li doesn't want to associate with him. He told Yan Shu that he just doesn't know what to awaken and started walking away. But Yan Shu stopped him. He put his hand on Jiang Li's shoulder and told him to stop showing off, or he might awaken a garbage job class. He laughed and told Jiang Li not to blame them for not giving him face when that happens. Jiang Li got angry and told Yan Shu to let go of him. Hearing that, Yan Shu also got a little angry. But when he saw Jiang Li's blue glowing eyes looking at him very angrily, he got a little scared and removed his hand. Well, Jiang Li also knows today he will definitely be the center of attention. And if his awakening fails, it would be truly embarrassing because once a genius fails, they become a laughingstock. Then sometime later, students' awakening starts. The first one was Class 1's Zhang Danyu, who awakens and fails first. He was very disappointed, but his teacher told him that even for students awakening to ordinary professions, don't lose heart, keep striving. There's potential in everyone. Then he calls the next student. The next student's awakening was very powerful. The whole ground got covered by bright lights. This student is Li Muwan, and she successfully awakened the advanced job class, Swift Archer. Students of Golden Domain Academy jumped in happiness because it's the genius girl from their Golden Domain Academy. Li Muwan, looking at Jiang Li, smiles as he was clapping for her successful awakening. Suddenly, there's another flash. It's another advanced job class. The one who awakens next was from Class 3, Yan Shu. He successfully awakened as an advanced job class, Flame Mage. Everyone was amazed by it, but Yan Shu was disappointed, saying it's just an advanced class. People start to talk that 2 consecutive advanced classes. Then it means this class is really strong, and there are even stronger ones coming up. Yan Shu comes down from the stage, saying, "Although it's just an advanced job class, it's already super impressive in the eyes of others. A bunch of inexperienced fools." When Yan Shu saw Jiang Li in front, he insulted him, saying, "Jiang Li, don't think your clown-like efforts can change anything. Talent is something you're born with." Jiang Li thought Yan Shu is a moron and didn't reply to him. Well, the next call for the student was Class 4's Jiang Li. He goes to the stage. At the office where all the principals of different academies were watching the awakening, An old principal asks the principal of Golden Domain Academy. Is he Jiang Li? The one with the best grades in your school? He really stands out. The principal didn't say anything and was just looking at Jiang Li. When the awakening started, Jiang Li's body started to glow with blue light. A job class scroll and a talent book came out as he awakened. But that blue light got stronger as time passed. The principal of Golden Domain Academy stood from his seat to see such a commotion happening. He thought, could it be the unique hidden job class? But when that blue light dimmed, Jiang Li's job class appeared. It was a basic job class of Mage. Principals were shocked to see that. The old principal asks the principal of Golden Domain Academy, what's happening? Wasn't he supposed to be the best student? Seeing Jiang Li's job class, Yanshu started to laugh, saying, serves him right, my flame mage is better than that. Everyone around Li Muan started to call Jiang Li a so-called genius fake. They said Li Muan is the real deal and asked her to please take them under her wing. Li Muan was not even paying any attention to them. She was just looking at Jiang Li, all worried. Jiang Li was just standing on the stage, not saying any words. People start to talk that Jiang Li's supposed to be a top student. Yet all he gets is a mage. They had such high hopes for nothing. They all were laughing. One asked others if they saw the principal's expression. It's so embarrassing. Jiang Li was just standing there, thinking that there is no way. Is this all there is to it? But suddenly, a bright screen appeared in front of his eyes. It was a system notification congratulating Jiang Li for awakening a special talent. Skills automatically max level. Jiang Li was surprised to see that special talent. He had never heard of such a thing before. He thought, could there be a connection to his crossing over? Suddenly, another window popped up, showing Jiang Li his skills, but they're not max level. But before he could say anything, suddenly that system screen started to shine very brightly. Jiang Li's 3 skills, Fireball spell, Light Armor spell, and Meditation spell, all 3 of their levels started to rise, and right before Jiang Li's eyes, they all continued to level up. Seeing his level going up so fast, he got a little scared, and at last, all his skills levels leveled up to max levels. Seeing that, Jiang Li was shocked, asking, what's going on here? Jiang Li was surprised because he remembered his teacher, Pu Jing, mentioning that after awakening as a practitioner, each profession comes with 3 level 1 starting skills. After leveling up, the strength and effects undergo a qualitative leap. But leveling up skills is very difficult. Currently, there should still be people who can max out all their skills. Jiang Li laughs, thinking that skills max level turns out to be so simple. He smiles, saying, it seems like fate hasn't abandoned me after all. Skills automatically max level. This is even more awesome than a hidden job class. While all this was happening in Jiang Li's mind, suddenly his principal shakes him to wake up. When Jiang Li opens his eyes, the principal of Golden Domain Academy told him not to be discouraged. Even though it's not a hidden job class, at least he has become a practitioner. His future still holds endless possibilities, and all the teachers believe in him. Well, after getting something like the skill automatic max level talent, there was no way Jiang Li would be sad. With a big smile on his face, he thanks his principal, saying he will continue to work hard. The principal pats his back, telling him to cheer up and go back to the classroom. He thought that Jiang Li is a very good kid, truly commendable. When Jiang Li gets down from the stage, everyone was laughing at him. No one comes to even congratulate him. Well, it was just as Jiang Li expected. Reality can be harsh. Compared to seeing a genius succeed, people prefer watching a genius fail. But Jiang Li is really going to disappoint them all. Then sometime later, at the trial shooting range, everyone was trying out their skills. There Yanshu was also checking his fire magic. He hit a mannequin with his fire magic that simply burned its outer layer. Seeing this, Yanshu's underlings praised him, saying it's impressive. The boss is indeed remarkable. While this was happening, Yanshu saw Jiang Li walking behind. He taunts Jiang Li, calling him an ordinary mage. But when Jiang Li doesn't reply to him, he attacks him with a fire magic, saying, I'm calling you an ordinary mage. Angry, Jiang Li looks back, asking what he wants. Pointing at the mannequins, Yanshu said, come on, let our genius show off his skills. With attitude, Jiang Li told him that they can practice on their own. He doesn't need to practice, he is already skilled. Hearing that, Yanshu and his underlings get angry. Yanshu told Jiang Li to quit the nonsense. Who said anything about practicing? Yanshu is telling him to show off his skills. Does he dare to compete with him? an advanced flame mage. Yan Shu put his finger at Zhang Li's head, calling him a wimp. Hearing that, Zhang Li gets very angry and uses his fireball spell to attack the mannequins behind. Seeing it, Yan Shu laughs, telling him to cut it out. Basic fireball spell. Is he even serious? But when Zhang Li's fireball hit the mannequins behind, there was a huge explosion. Yan Shu was shocked. Looking back, he asked what's going on. That explosion was very huge, and not one but all the mannequins in the trial shooting range completely burned. Yan Shu looks at Zhang Li, saying, "This can't be happening." He asks Zhang Li if he isn't a basic mage. Well, our protagonist didn't reply to him. With style, he walks away from there. The power of this basic level fireball spell is outrageous. Although the power of the fireball at full level is great, but just that last one almost used up half of my mana. Zhang Li arrives at his home. He was thinking all the way home that he has to quickly level up and increase the maximum amount of mana. When Zhang Li enters his house, a voice comes asking how he can come back without saying a word. Well, the one asking that is Zhang's mother, Dan Qingshui. She asks him to come in and quickly wash his hands. It's time to eat. At the dinner table, Zhang Li told his mother that he successfully awakened today. He is a mage now. Hearing it, his mother gets really happy. She told him that mages are great. They use skills from the back row in the team, relatively safer than the front row. She stood from her seat, telling Zhang Li she has something for him. She gives Zhang Li a box, telling him that this is from his father. Back then, he was also a powerful professional. Zhang Li was shocked to find out that his father was a powerful professional. He asks his mother that didn't she tell him before that he had died long before Zhang Li was born. He asks her that since he was a powerful professional, where did he go in the end? Why has he ignored them for so many years? Well, his mother also doesn't know either. She told Zhang Li that his father only said he was going to the edge of the world, saying there are very important matters to attend to. So he left in a hurry. When she saw that Zhang Li is getting angry to hear that, she told him not to blame his father. He promised to make Zhang Li a mage. That's why she has always emphasized Zhang Li's studies in mage skills. His mother starts crying. She said that now that Zhang Li has grown up and become a mage, well, she didn't complete her words. But she is hoping that now that Zhang Li has become a mage, his father could come back to her. She turned around and goes to her room, saying she is tired. She asks Zhang Li to go back to his room and rest first, or he can check the box. Well, looking at the box, Zhang Li felt as if this is going to change his life. When he tries opening that box, a golden light starts coming out of it. Zhang Li was shocked to see it. Inside that box was a job class scroll and a note. It was written on the note that using this scroll can change one's profession to a powerful arcanist. Requirements for profession change are that a mage class profession strength reaches gold level or above. Zhang Li was shocked to find out that it's a profession change scroll. It's a profession change scroll that can change to a special profession. The requirements are to reach the gold level of profession. In this world, professions are clearly divided into normal, iron, bronze, silver, gold, holy domain, and demigod. When one reaches a certain level and meets the corresponding conditions, they can break through to the next rank. Zhang Li was told that his father was one of the top professionals in the gold level, but even he was only at the gold level, so there is no way for him to get this kind of scroll. Now Zhang Li knows that it was all a lie. He doesn't understand what rank his father was who could obtain such a scroll. Holy domain or demigod. If he had such strength, why has there been no news for so many years? Zhang Li puts back the scroll, thinking that for now, he has to find a way to level up and become a gold-level professional. Because in 7 days, the trial for professionals in Jin City will begin. By then, Zhang Li's batch will also participate in the professional trial, so it's good to prepare in advance. Sometimes later at the hunting grounds, a red-haired hunter looking at Zhang Li told another blue-haired hunter that it's another ignorant kid who doesn't know the height of the sky and the thickness of the earth, just awakened and rushing to the wilderness to court death. The other blue-haired hunter said that maybe he has a powerful special profession. The red-haired hunter told him to look closely at how skinny he is. What else could he be besides a mage? Both of them start laughing at Zhang Li. Well, Zhang Li ignores them and continues walking. But when a girl hunter named Vivi saw Zhang Li going along, she stops him. She calls him little brother, saying, "Judging from your aura, you must be a newly awakened student. Do you want to join us?" "Well," she kindly asks him. But her party members don't like it. They told Vivi that they have important matters to attend to this time. How can they bring such a burden with them? It's his own business if he doesn't know his limits. Vivi gets angry at them, asking, why are they all like this? But Jiang Li told her that it's okay. He thanks her for her kindness, but tells her that he will be fine on his own. But before he could go, Vivi stops him, asking to wait a moment. She takes out a bottle of potions, telling Jiang Li that since he doesn't want to team up with them, at least take this, because he is also a mage. He should find it useful later. Jiang Li thanks her and left for the hunting grounds. He goes to the Grey Forest where a level 4 big goblin was roaming around. Jiang Li was hiding behind a tree, and when the big goblin was not looking, he activates his fireball magic and throws it at the goblin. The big goblin noticed the fireball magic, but it was already too late. When the fireball hit that big goblin, there was a huge explosion. The big goblin burns to death. Looking at its corpse, Jiang Li said indeed, the max level fireball spell took care of the level 4 goblin in an instant. But suddenly, he hears someone's footsteps. He immediately turns around to check what it was, and he sees a group of normal goblins coming out of the bushes. They were attracted by the commotion just now. Seeing them, Jiang Li backs off and starts casting his spell, saying it's just as good a thing. It saves him from having to search for them one by one. But suddenly, a goblin jumped and got too close to him to attack. When Jiang Li saw that goblin, he uses the light armor spell. A light armor appeared and protected him from the goblin's attack. The goblins try hitting it, but the max level light armor spell isn't easily broken through. Jiang Li gets ready to use the fireball spell again. This time, he hits the ground with his fireball spell. With a huge explosion, all the goblins around go flying. Seeing the destructive power, Jiang Li said it's like using a sledgehammer to crack a nut. Suddenly, a system alert notification comes, telling Jiang Li that he has leveled up by 1 level and is currently level 2. Well, he killed that many monsters. But the experience given is too little. Suddenly more goblins appear there. Jiang Li gets ready to use his fireball spell, saying no matter how many come, the result is the same. But this time when he uses the spell, nothing happens. He was unable to make the fireball. Jiang Li was shocked and scared. When he checked his stats, he found that he is out of mana already. Jiang Li was shocked to see his mana pool empty. He only cast 2 fireball spells and 1 light armor spell. Even though he just leveled up and increased his mana pool, it didn't last. Well, luckily, the shield from the light armor spell is still half full. Jiang Li decides to replenish his mana with meditation after finishing them off. He picks up a stick from the ground, knowing that goblins can't break through his defense anyway. He points at the goblins, saying he will play with them. When those goblins get near him, Jiang Li jumps to attack them, saying he will show them the power of the melee mage. He hits one goblin with all his power, but that goblin only loses 10 points of his health. Well, just as expected, the damage of a melee mage is really low, but Jiang Li doesn't lose confidence. He jumps to attack those goblins, saying 10 points is enough. He was right. He can continuously attack those goblins, and they can't do anything to him anyway. Jiang Li continued hitting them, and at last, he killed all the goblins by night. Jiang Li takes a sigh of relief, finally wearing them down. Jiang Li also realizes that his physical damage is really too low. Suddenly, another system notification comes of him leveling to level 3. Well, seeing his stats, Jiang Li thought that currently, he only has the fireball spell as an offensive magic. With his current mana, using 2 fireballs is already the limit. And during the cooldown of the fireball spell, he needs to use the light armor spell to ensure his safety. This way, the efficiency is still too slow. Suddenly, Jiang Li hears a loud sound coming out of the forest. There were many red eyes looking at Jiang Li from the shadows. Hearing the sound, Jiang Li thought, could it be? Well, what he thought was right. A huge monster comes out of the forest. It's a level 10 elite monster, Giant Axe Goblin. This monster is multiple times bigger in size compared to Jiang Li. Seeing it, Jiang Li said it's perfect timing. Eliminating elite monsters in the early stages should provide a lot of experience. He uses the light armor spell with full confidence, but just like before, nothing happened. No armor appeared. Looking at his stats, Jiang Li realizes that his mana is still not enough. But the level 10 Giant Axe Goblin is not waiting for him, and Jiang Li doesn't even have enough mana for the light armor spell. The Giant Axe Goblin raises his axe and swings towards Jiang Li. He jumps to the side to dodge the axe. The axe's attack force was so strong that it cut the ground. The Giant Axe Goblin smiles at Jiang Li. Seeing it, Jiang Li understands one thing. This is going to be a problem. But when Jiang Li is not looking, a small goblin attacks him from behind. Looking back, he sees the small goblins that he almost forgot about. Jiang Li starts to run away, as both the giant axe goblin and the group of small goblins were chasing after him. Jiang Li thinks they are bullying him because he is out of mana. Jiang Li tries to stay calm. From the current situation, Jiang Li thinks of 3 ways to deal with it. The first is to find an opportunity to use meditation to restore his mana. But the small goblins will not let him do that. They will continue to follow him while throwing rocks at him. There's no chance to focus in this situation at all. The second is to use up this one and only potion that Vivi gave him before. Looking at the potion bottle, Jiang Li thinks that this ordinary quality potion can only restore less than 1/3 of his mana, and 1 fireball definitely won't be enough. But the light armor will suffice. So, the only option left is the third one. Retreat for now, recover, and come back to fight again. But running away isn't really Jiang Li's style. He turns back to fight the giant axe goblin. He knows that if he waits for mana to naturally recover, it'll take 24 hours. And during this time, the elite monster might be taken by someone else. Jiang Li opens the potion bottle and drinks it. As he drinks it, his mana immediately increases. The giant axe goblin raises his axe to attack him again, and it hits the place where Jiang Li was standing. The whole ground there was destroyed. But the one to get shocked was the giant axe goblin. At the last moment, Jiang Li casts his light armor spell that stops the giant axe goblin's axe. Seeing his status window, Jiang Li wonders how much mana he can restore using max-level meditation before the light armor breaks. Well, this is a gamble, and Jiang Li plays it. Seeing the light armor, the giant axe goblin gets very angry. Ignoring it, Jiang Li sits down to meditate and starts to recover his mana. Looking at Jiang Li completely ignoring it, the giant axe goblin gets even more angry. It starts continuously attacking the light armor around Jiang Li. Well, 1/3 of Jiang Li's mana has recovered, but his light armor is slowly breaking. But Jiang Li doesn't pay any attention to it and continues with meditation. But when the giant axe goblin, using its full force, attacks the almost broken light armor, it breaks immediately. Well, Jiang Li's mana has half recovered. Seeing it, he says it's enough to deal with this goblin. That goblin was tired after struggling to break the armor, and before it could attack again, Jiang Li, using his fireball spell, attacks it. The giant axe goblin goes flying after it was hit by the max-level fireball spell. There was a huge explosion, and along with the giant axe goblin, all the small goblins also died. A system notification comes, telling Jiang Li that he successfully attacked the weak point. It's a critical hit that kills the giant axe goblin. Jiang Li was exhausted because that was a close call. But max-level meditation sure is powerful. For killing an elite monster and many small monsters, Jiang Li's level increased by 4 levels. Currently, he is level 7. Jiang Li was surprised to find that he leveled up 4 levels just by killing an elite monster. He goes to check the corpse of the giant axe goblin, hoping to find anything good there. He gets 2 pieces of black iron equipment, swift gloves, and exquisite leather boots. But with his current combat strength, either he kills the monster with 1 hit, or the monster kills him in 1 go. So, these beginner's equipment probably won't make much of a difference. And they're ugly. Jiang Li decides to keep them to sell when he gets the chance. On another note, judging by Jiang Li's current mana, he still can't cast a 3rd fireball at full capacity. And every time he has to risk his life to gather the monsters together. Jiang Li said that this efficiency is not even comparable to grinding monsters for a whole day compared to fighting an elite monster. He was hoping that if only there were other low-cost, wide-range attack spells it would be great. And suddenly he saw behind a skill book lying on the ground. Jiang Li's eyes get brighter as he saw the skill book because it's something that even novice classes can learn. He opened the skill book to see what skill it is. And just when he opens it, a huge amount of thunder comes out of the book and flows into Jiang Li's body with high speed. He was shocked to see that the skill book's skill is Arc Lightning. Jiang Li remembers that it's an area of effect skill. Arc Lightning is a level 10 spell whose casting time is 0.5 seconds. Mana consumption is 0 points, and it can jump between multiple targets. The paralysis effect and damage are tied to the user's level, with the level getting max as Jiang Li learns the spell. He laughs because it's actually a scalable skill, and it has a control effect. He can't wait to try it out. Sometimes later, in a peaceful forest, small goblins were resting after working all day. But someone could not see them sleep that peacefully. a lightning spell hit the goblins while they were sleeping. The attack didn't kill them, but they got injured. Zhongli was surprised that one shot is not enough to kill them, so he attacked them with another lightning spell. The second lightning attack again hit all the goblins as it's an area effect spell. After getting hit the second time, the goblins died. The damage is not as high as Fireball, but the mana cost of 4 arc lightnings is barely on par with 1 Fireball, and the casting and cooldown time is faster than Fireball. Plus, no need to gather monsters, so it's a good spell. This is exactly what Zhongli needed. Now he has a means to deal with the small monsters. He thought that the next target is the area boss of the Grey Forest. If one elite monster can provide so much experience and rewards, the area boss must be even more rewarding, right? But after learning from the previous lesson, before going to the boss, Zhongli sits down on the ground to replenish his mana first. After recovering his mana, Zhongli goes deep into the forest where the goblins' tribe was. He thought that the area boss should be in there. He sneaked in as all the goblins were asleep, surrounding a big goblin statue. Zhongli thought that while they're sleeping so soundly, he should quickly find the boss and hit it with a couple of fireballs. But when he was passing by a goblin, he suddenly stepped on a dry branch. Zhongli gets scared because he made a sound. Hearing it, a goblin wakes up. But before it could wake up others, Zhongli tries to silence it. With all his might, he attacks that goblin on the head. But just as expected, that goblin only loses some health and didn't die. That goblin gets very angry and starts screaming. Hearing it scream, other goblins also wake up. They all start chasing after Zhongli, and he starts to run away from them, telling them to stop chasing him because he still needs mana to fight the boss. But when a goblin throws a rock at Zhang Li's head, then he gets very angry. He turns around and starts casting the lightning spell, asking the goblins if they want to fight, then he will fight. He strikes them using his lightning spell. All the goblins get hit by the lightning spell and lose half of their health. But Zhang Li didn't stop there. He attacks them with a second lightning attack, and the goblins get down after getting hit by the second attack. Zhang Li was angry that all of them picked on him, but he doesn't see the boss anywhere. Zhang Li thought, is it not in the tribe? While he was thinking that, suddenly the ground starts to shake. Zhang Li thought it's an earthquake, but he doesn't understand why an earthquake happened all of a sudden. Unconsciously, he goes right in front of the big goblin statue that was in the middle of the goblin tribe. But Zhang Li didn't notice the green light coming out of the statue's body. Not far away from there, 3 people were roaming around in the forest where Zhang Li was. The guy in the middle was their leader. His name is Yan Quan, Yan Shu's cousin. He knows that Zhang Li in this forest practicing this late. Yan Quan plans to seize this opportunity to take down Zhang Li, then his cousin will surely be pleased. He laughs, wondering how his uncle will reward him then. One of Yan Quan's underlings looks around and asks him if it's so late. Is that guy surnamed Jiang really still in the forest? Yan Quan angrily looks at him and said, why, you don't trust me? That underling gets really scared. He explains that how could he dare to doubt him? What he means is, it's dangerous to be out in the wild at night. If they encounter an elite monster or a boss entry-level practitioner, they can't handle them at all. But suddenly they also felt the earthquake that Zhang Li felt. Yan Quan immediately recognized that reaction. He understood that someone triggered the area boss. He didn't expect an unexpected gain. He told his underlings that the area boss here is the Goblin Shaman. The 3 of them, Black Iron level practitioners, can barely handle it. No matter who's fighting the boss right now, they will let them fight for a while. He laughs, and with a cunning smile, he said that they will give them a taste of their attack later. On the other hand, that statue broke, and from it, the level 20 boss, Goblin Shaman, comes out. Zhang Li was shocked to see it, asking if that's the area boss of the Greywood Forest. Looking at it, Zhang Li thought that its momentum is not as strong as the previous elite monsters. But before Zhang Li could understand the situation more, that Goblin Shaman started casting an ice arrow spell. Seeing that it's also a mage, Zhang Li smiles and activates his fireball spell. Zhang Li throws his fireball at the Goblin Shaman because the Goblin Shaman was still casting its spell. Its casting speed is too slow compared to Zhang Li. There was a huge explosion around the Goblin Shaman. A system notification comes, telling Zhang Li that he successfully attacked the enemy's weak point. It's a critical hit. But in that burning fire, a shadow appeared, and suddenly that shadow attacks Zhang Li with an ice arrow. Seeing that, Zhang Li immediately casts his light armor spell, saying, I knew it wouldn't be that simple. When the ice arrow hits the light armor that Zhongli casted, a system notification comes, warning Zhongli that his light armor is hit by a level 5 ice arrow from the boss goblin shaman. The light armor loses half of its power. Zhongli was shocked to see that the goblin's ice arrow caused such high damage. On the other hand, the goblin shaman was completely unharmed. But when the fire died down, Zhongli disappeared from its sight. The goblin shaman was looking for Zhongli, and he was hiding behind a tree right behind the goblin shaman. But when the goblin shaman felt some movement from behind, it used the ice arrow spell, hitting the tree behind. Well, that was the wrong tree. Zhongli was hiding right next to that tree. Seeing the goblin shaman completely unharmed, Zhongli realized that he had not hit the weak point just now. He understands that the cloak the goblin shaman is wearing can resist flames, must have magic resistance. Zhongli just cleared the mobs, and now straight into a boss fight. Looking at his health and mana, he knows that with his current mana, he definitely can't handle it. Zhongli thought that before the goblin shaman notices him, he will replenish some mana first. On the other hand, the goblin shaman continues attacking the trees he felt Zhongli could be hiding behind. One by one, all the trees fall after getting hit by the goblin shaman's ice arrow spell. Now only one tree was remaining, and that was the tree Zhongli was hiding behind. The goblin shaman goes in front of that tree, then he uses its ice arrow and attacks that tree. The ice arrow first pierces through the tree, then hits the light armor which Zhong cast before. Zhongli was still meditating to recover his mana, but when his light armor got destroyed, he opened his eyes. When the goblin shaman finds Zhongli, it starts to laugh. It immediately starts casting a big spell of multiple ice arrows. Seeing it, Zhongli realizes that this situation is very bad. Zhongli was too shocked when the goblin shaman attacked the tree where he was hiding. Looking at his stats, Zhongli knows that currently his mana isn't enough to cast Fireball, so he decides to fight using a lightning spell. The goblin shaman, who has already cast the ice arrow to attack Zhong, got hit by his lightning spell. Due to Zhong's lightning spell's paralyzing effect, the goblin shaman's ice arrow spell was destroyed. The goblin shaman got on his knees as all of his energy left his body. Zhong gets happy to see that the paralyze effect of arc lightning at max level can actually interrupt the goblin shaman's casting. Seeing this great opportunity, he runs towards the goblin shaman, stealing the goblin shaman's treasured robe, thinking that without it, the goblin shaman won't be able to withstand his spells. Zhongli's plan was to first take away their equipment, then strike guerrilla style. Now it's Zhongli's turn to strike back since the goblin shaman is unable to fight back at the moment. After getting hit by the lightning arc spell again, the goblin shaman is now more miserable. Zhongli's attacks are making him very angry. He looks around for Zhongli to attack, and when he sees a white cloth behind some trees, he gets happy thinking Zhongli is there. He again casts the ice arrow spell and attacks those trees with full power, changing the trajectory of the arrows to make them more powerful. His ice arrows completely destroyed those trees, making big holes in them. There was a huge explosion of cold ice and blue mana. The goblin shaman laughs loudly, thinking he has eliminated Zhongli, but he gets shocked when he sees that there is nothing behind those trees. Zhongli, from behind, asks the goblin shaman where he is looking. Before the goblin shaman could even react to it, Zhongli attacks him from behind, telling the goblin shaman that his game is over. Zhongli attacks him using the fireball spell. As the goblin shaman doesn't have his treasured robe, he casts Goblin Defense, a protective barrier, to defend himself. But in front of Zhongli's max-level fireball spell, the goblin shaman's barrier doesn't stand a chance. It breaks immediately and hits the goblin shaman. There was a huge explosion. Zhongli gets the notification that he successfully attacked the weak spot, dealing critical damage. The goblin shaman falls on the ground. Only a tiny bit of his health remains. Zhongli mocks the goblin shaman, saying, "Although you have defense skills, this is a max-level fireball of mine. Without fire resistance, even the strongest defense is a one-hit kill." Zhongli picks up a stick from the ground, telling the Goblin King that it had tough luck because today it ran into Zhongli. With all his power, Zhongli hits the goblin shaman's head and kills him. After killing the boss monster, the goblin shaman, Zhongli levels up by 3 levels and is currently level 10. Then afterward, when Zhongli sees the boss loot, he gets very happy. Looking at the goblin shaman's wand, Zhongli decides he should use this wand in the future. But he is disgusted looking at the goblin shaman's burned treasured robe. Well, it was a fire resistance robe of black iron quality. The level requirement to wear it was level 5 or above. Wearing this robe can significantly reduce fire damage, but its current durability is 0, as it's already damaged. Seeing it, Zhang Li thought, no wonder the goblin shaman could withstand my fireball, but it's already worn out. And Zhang Li feels like it's not much use, so he throws it. Now the important key is the skill book. Zhang Li learned the ice arrow technique from the skill book. This spell's initial level was level 5, but with Zhang Li's special talent, it upgraded to a max level spell. Looking at the ice arrow technique information, Zhang Li finds out that the chanting time is 2 seconds and the mana cost is 200 points. It can cause significant damage to a single target, with the damage amount tied to the user's level. Zhang Li has already seen what a level 5 ice arrow technique can do. Now he wonders what the max level will do. Then, when Zhang Li checks the goblin shaman's wand's information, he finds that it was the goblin's resentment wand of bronze level. It can increase magic penetration by 10 points. The level requirement to wear it was level 7 or above. The system told Zhang Li to beware of this wand because carrying it would make him the enemy of all goblins. Zhang Li was very surprised to find that it's actually a bronze-level wand with a magic penetration effect. Now he understands how the goblin shaman's ice arrow hit him, even with max-level light armor technique. Zhang Li gets happy thinking that with this, he will be able to handle monsters with innate magic resistance in the future. When Zhang Li was checking his loot, suddenly a voice comes from behind, telling him to put his hands up and don't move. Well, it was Yang Quan and his underlings. Seeing that there's no one else nearby, they thought Zhang Li's teammates must all be dead. They could not even imagine that Zhang Li was hunting alone. Yang Quan recognizes Zhang Li. He laughs, saying, "To defeat a regional boss right after awakening as a professional, not bad, but it's too bad. Those teammates you abandoned were probably stronger than you." Zhang Li gets confused and asks Yang Quan how he knows his name. Yang Quan proudly announces that he is Yang Quan, from the Yan family of Jincheng. He said he heard Zhang Li used to bully his cousin at school. Do he think the Yang family is powerless? Hearing that Yang Quan is Yan's cousin, Zhang Li starts acting. He said Yan was a genius at our school, how could he dare to bully him? Zhang Li said he happened to have some small items here. He offers Yang Quan to take a look and see if there's anything he likes. Basically, Zhang Li offers them to be friends. Yang Quan told Zhang Li that he doesn't have to say it, he will take everything. But as for being friends, there is no way. He rubs his fist and offers Zhang Li to choose what he wants to protect, his hands or legs, saying he will try to go easy. Zhang Li, who was already using his meditation skill to recover his mana, told Yang Quan not to fight as soon as they meet. Yang Quan's underling, who was collecting all the loot from behind, saw Zhang Li using his skill. He told Yang Quan that this Zhang Li is using meditation to regenerate mana. But Yang Quan was full of himself. He asks that even if they let Zhang Li fully recover, so what? The three of them, all at Black Iron level, can't beat a novice, and he's just an ordinary mage. Hearing that, Zhang Li smiles like a devil. He said, "It's great to know you three are Black Iron level professionals." Seeing Zhang Li smile, Yang Quan said, "You're not thinking of fighting us to the death, are you?" He told Zhang Li that they won't give him the chance to cast spells. And just when he said that, Zhang Li uses the lightning arc spell and attacks all three of them. They all fall on the ground and get paralyzed. Now the scene has reversed. Zhang Li rubs his fist, saying, "Villains die from talking too much." He mocked Yang Quan, saying, "I'm waiting for mana to regenerate, but why are you not attacking? What are you waiting for?" Paralyzed, Yang Quan was very angry. He asks Zhang Li how he can cast spells so fast. Zhang Li, who was about to cast the fireball skill, said, "Who knows?" He attacks them with fireball, and there was a huge explosion. When the smoke cleared, all three of them completely fell and died. Zhang Li robbed them fully, saying, "As a Black Iron tier professional, Yang Quan has a lot of good stuff on him." Zhang Li takes everything in his bag, saying, "What else to grind after defeating the area boss and robbing for more profit?" But Zhang Li was a little worried because after defeating the area boss, he only leveled up 3 times. He thought he had to change leveling spots tomorrow. When he was leaving, he looks back at Yang Quan, thinking, 3 Black Iron tier players robbing a newbie and getting killed. It's too embarrassing to mention such a shameful thing. Then after some time, Zhang Li arrived at Rosetown. Zhang Li was carrying so much stuff after going out that he got very exhausted, regretting that if only there were a spatial item, it would have been easy. From there, he walked more, and got to the Golden Dragon Treasury to sell his loot. The receptionist at Golden Dragon Treasury was a cute girl in a bunny costume. With a bright smile, she asked Jiang Li if he needed her help with something. However, she got shocked when Jiang Li dropped all the loot he got from his hunting. He told the receptionist that he wanted to sell some equipment and materials. The receptionist asked him to wait, saying she would settle with him soon. Then, a while later, she told Jiang Li that it's all settled. According to market prices, it's a total of 972,000 Flame Dragon coins. She rounded it up to 1 million Flame Dragon coins for Jiang Li. Jiang Li was shocked to find that his loot sold for 1 million. Well, it was a normal reaction because he knows that his mom only earns 3,000 to 4,000 a month, but he made 1 million so easily. He thought, is this the difference between professionals and ordinary people? He was happy because at this rate, it won't be long before he can give his mom a better life. Then, after Jiang Li got the money, he asked the receptionist if they had any basic skill books for sale there. The receptionist said yes and asked him to please follow her. While Jiang Li was doing his business on the ground, someone was looking at him from the first floor. She is Golden City Academy's genius girl, Mo Qing, also Jiang Li's classmate. She was a little surprised to see Jiang Li there. Suddenly her attendant called her saying, "Miss, everything is ready." Hearing that, she left. On the other hand, the bunny receptionist took Jiang Li to the Golden Dragon Treasury Library. He asked her that since he needed basic mage class skills, did she have any recommendations? The bunny receptionist took out 5 beginner-level skills that mages can learn, telling Jiang Li that he could choose some that he liked. The first was Level D slowness technique that cost 600,000 Flame Dragon coins. Except for it, all 4 were Level D ice arrow technique, similarly costing 600,000 Flame Dragon coins. Seeing the price, Jiang Li was amazed, thinking, looks like my 1 million isn't really that much. He understood that for now, he could only buy some low-level ones for transition. Currently, Jiang Li knew Fireball, Arc Lightning, and Ice Arrow, so his both single target and AoE attacks were covered, and he also had Light Armor technique for defense. So, he chose Level D slowness technique as a control skill, thinking that although he had Arc Lightning which has a paralysis effect, the duration is too short. He bought the Slowdown technique. Slowdown technique is a level 10 spell with a cooldown of 1 second, chanting time 0.4 seconds, and duration of 2 seconds. Its effect is that it can apply a slowdown buff to the target, and the slowdown effect is linked to the user's level. But it doesn't matter to Jiang Li because when he learned it, the skill level increased to max level. Jiang Li also needed to solve the problem of mana limit, so he decided to buy some supplies with the remaining money. He asked the receptionist if they sold blue potions or similar items there. And just like that, Jiang Li spent all his 1 million coins. On the other hand, in the reception room of Golden Dragon Treasure Store, the manager personally welcomed Jiang Li's classmate, Mo Qing. She is a very high-status lady of society. Scared of her status, the manager told Mo Qing that the information has been gathered. There indeed is a black iron tier dungeon appearing in the Gale Plains. But the entrance is uncertain, so they need to spend some more time searching. Mo Qing's personality is a little bossy. She told the manager that it's okay. As long as the entrance is in the Gale Plains, she will personally take people to search tomorrow. Well, she was talking about business, but all her attention was on the person she just saw in the hall. She was wondering if she saw it wrong because she heard Jiang Li's awakening ceremony went wrong, and he ended up just an ordinary mage, so it shouldn't be possible for him to appear here. While she was thinking this, her butler noticed it and asked her what she was thinking about. She got surprised that her butler noticed her. Embarrassed, Mo Qing told him that it's nothing. The butler told her that if she can clear this dungeon, her level will definitely skyrocket. Reaching Black Ear and Tyre probably won't be a problem, and by the time of the trial competition in a week, she will definitely be able to surpass Miss Li from the Li family. Hearing that, Mo Qing got very happy. She told the butler there is no time to waste. She asked him to gather Mo Da and the others over here. She will lead them into the dungeon herself when the time comes. Later, at the Gale Plains which Mo Qing was talking about, 2 Gale Wolves were chasing Jiang Li. He attacked them using the Lightning Arc spell. This attack hit both of the Gale Wolves, and both of them lost half their health and were paralyzed. Jiang Li was surprised to see that with the increase in level, the damage of magic has also become higher. He thought that now, if he goes to fight goblins again, Arc Lightning should be able to one-shot them. While he was thinking that, suddenly another Gale Wolf attacked him from behind, aiming for his neck. But to his surprise, that Gale Wolf's teeth broke down after hitting Jiang Li's light armor. He had already cast the light armor spell for this moment. Seeing that this chase is endless, Zhongli started running again, and those wolves chased him. Suddenly, he looked back and attacked a Gale Wolf with the lightning arc spell. But right before that spell hit the Gale Wolf, it moved to his side and dodged it. Zhongli was surprised to see that these Gale Wolves can actually dodge his arc lightning. He thought, since that's the case, then he will use his new spell. Zhongli cast his newly learned spell, Slowdown Technique. Suddenly, a purple magic circle appeared beneath those Gale Wolves, slowing their movements. Seeing it, Jiang Li said, "Is this the max-level slowdown technique? Fast casting speed, no trajectory, and the enemy can't dodge." He was very surprised, but it can only be cast on a single target, so using it 3 times in a row is a bit extravagant. Jiang Li knows that he needs to deal with other Gale Wolves before others arrive. Then, a moment later, after killing them, Jiang Li drinks a bottle of blue potion to recover his health and mana. It was a good thing he bought some supplies at the Golden Dragon Treasury yesterday. With that, today's monster grinding efficiency is much higher. Currently, Jiang Li is at level 11. At the moment, he was hiding behind a road, thinking about how he should deal with this elite monster. The monster he was aiming for is a level 20 bloodline wolf, triple in size compared to normal Gale Wolves. So, Jiang Li decided to make a surprise attack. He hid behind the rock, and when the bloodline wolf was not looking, he attacked it with the lightning arc spell. When the bloodline wolf was in a paralyzed state, Jiang Li jumped from the rock and attacked it using the fireball spell, saying, "He will take out the mother." There was a huge explosion there, and a system notification came confirming that he successfully attacked the weak spot, making it a critical hit. The bloodline wolf was in bad shape, and the other Gale Wolves had already died. Jiang Li said, "Now it's 1 versus 1. Suddenly, that injured bloodline wolf jumped to attack him. But Jiang Li used the slowdown spell on it, telling it to behave itself. The slowdown curse tied down the bloodline wolf, completely restricting its movement. The bloodline wolf cannot reach Jiang Li, who was standing right in front of him. Looking at it, Jiang Li said that although he doesn't know where the weak spot of the bloodline wolf is, one thing is certain. He cast the fireball spell and said, "It's hairy, it's weak, and it's on fire." Seeing the fireball, the bloodline wolf got very scared because it has already experienced it. Jiang Li successfully attacked its weak spot, making it a critical hit. After killing the bloodline wolf, he leveled up by 2 levels, currently at level 13. As the loot for killing the bloodline wolf, Jiang Li obtained a black iron dagger and a black iron ring. He was happy, thinking that although they are only black iron grade equipment, fortunately, they are small in size. So now it would be easy to carry around. He put them in his bag, wondering how much they can be sold for. While he was collecting the loot, suddenly the ground started to shake like crazy. Jiang Li was surprised to see the ground shaking like that. And before he could even understand the situation, suddenly he heard a noise. When he looked ahead, he saw a sandstorm coming his way. But upon closer inspection, he saw that it's not a sandstorm but rather a horde of monsters. Seeing that, Jiang Li was a little scared. While taking out a blue mana recovery potion, he said, "I just fought an elite monster. There's no need to retaliate against me like this, is there?" But before he could drink the recovery potion, those monsters reached him. Instead of attacking him, they all walked past him and ran behind. Jiang Li was very nervous, but he took a sigh of relief that they didn't come here for him. However, he again got shocked when he realized what this meant. He ran towards the main base area because he knows that wolves are pack animals, and only the Wolf King can summon such a large wolf pack. So, someone triggered the area boss. He runs there shouting that he can't let anyone else get to it first. That boss monster is his. On the other hand, in front of the boss monster's cave, some bandits have surrounded the red-haired girl, Vivi, and her party, who helped Jiang Li at the beginning of the story by giving him a mana recovery potion. From Yi Yi's party, only 3 people were alive, including her. The bald guy from her party was very angry at the bandits, saying, "Taking advantage of the situation. What kind of heroes are you?" But those bandits, before saying anything, hit the other guy from their party. The bandit leader told the bald guy that although they are not really heroes, if he wants to blame anyone, blame himself for being too foolish to come to fight the boss so openly without any preparation. If they don't grab it, who will? All the bandits were aiming at them. The leader laughed, telling the bald guy that his equipment is theirs, and the Bloodstripe Wolf King is equally theirs. The bald guy and Yi Yi were too scared because from their party, only they were alive. The bald guy offers the bandits that he will give them both the equipment and the Bloodstripe Wolf King, so they should let them go. The bandit leader laughs, saying of course he will let them go. But the bald guy has to bring the priest behind to him. He was a pervert. He said that after he had his fun, he will naturally let them go. Vivi was scared, so, in hope, she called her captain, the bald guy. But the bald guy had already decided what he would do. He asked Yi Yi not to blame him, saying he also wants to live. He approached Vivi so that he could hand her over to the bandits and be safe. Vivi was too scared, telling the bald guy not to come near her. As the bald guy's hand reached her, Vivi started crying, begging for help. And right at that moment, those bandits were hit by a lightning strike. Everyone was shocked by what just happened. The bandit leader was too angry, asking who dares to attack them, who dares to ruin his good fortune. He sensed someone's presence from behind, so he pulled out his sword, asking the enemy to come out. Well, the one who attacked them with lightning was Jiang Li, our main character. He smiled, saying, "Bandits, it's not even dark yet, and you are out robbing. You're so dedicated." Jiang Li readied the fireball spell to attack, but suddenly a bandit assassin attacked him from behind. Jiang Li looked back and attacked that assassin with fireball, saying, "I haven't finished speaking yet, so don't interrupt me." Seeing Jiang Li, the bald guy left Vivi and ran away, asking not to kill him. Vivi became too emotional when she saw that it's Jiang Li who came to help her. The bandit leader was too nervous, thinking if there are still allies standing because in a single strike, all his brothers were swiftly defeated. He understood that this opponent is too strong, but even after knowing all this, in the end, he still underestimated Jiang Li because he's merely a mage. The leader told the leftover bandits to attack Jiang Li together and not give him a chance to cast a spell. Annoyed, Jiang cast the fireball spell, asking, why does each one of them rush in so recklessly? Are they really so eager to die? He attacked them with the fireball and burned them alive. Seeing his fellow bandit brother's condition, the bandit leader got too scared. He couldn't understand how it is possible. It's merely a common mage's skill, yet why such a devastating impact? He threw his sword and got on his knees, saying, "My lord, this has all been a misunderstanding." Pointing at Vivi, he told Jiang Li to take her and leave because the Blood Rune Wolf King resides within the cave. Well, Jiang Li wasn't leaving him that easily. He cast the Ice Arrow spell, telling the leader that since he had chosen to attack Jiang, then he should be prepared for Jiang's lethal retaliation. He shot the arrow, which killed the bandit leader. The dying bandit leader told Jiang Li that the Blood Wolf mercenaries wouldn't let him get away with this. Then, after killing all the bandits, Jiang Li collected all their equipment. He was happy, because now he could use so many skills in one breath. The level up brought a significant improvement. Vivi hesitated a little but approached Jiang Li and thanked him for saving her. She was a little embarrassed because she didn't expect him to be so powerful. She was worried about Jiang Li earlier. After packing up everything, Jiang told her that it's nothing. She had previously saved him as well, so now they were even. Then, before going into the boss monster's cave, he told her that he was about to go fight the boss. Did she want to come with him? Vivi hesitated at first, but seeing his power, she agreed. While Vivi was following Jiang Li, she thought he was amazing because he had just dealt with those thugs a moment ago, and now he was going to challenge the boss. She thought that Jiang Li's age didn't seem considerable. Could it be that he possessed some powerful and concealed class? Then, when both of them entered the cave, they saw the boss monster, a level 25 Blood Rune Wolf King, sleeping there. They hid behind a rock to observe it. Vivi thought that currently, she was only at level 20. She had just reached Black Iron rank not long ago. So, was it possible for only the two of them to kill the boss? She was worried looking at Jiang Li, who seemed ready to attack the boss monster with the fireball spell. Seeing her worried, Jiang Li ran towards the boss monster and attacked it using fireball, telling her that they wouldn't know until they tried. When his fireball hit the boss monster, there was a huge explosion. Seeing that there was no critical hit indicator, Jiang Li thought, is the Wolf King not vulnerable to fire? The boss monster awakened and roared loudly, saying, "Intruder, meet your end." From Jiang Li's fireball attack, the boss monster only lost a little bit of its health. Seeing that, Jiang Li confirmed one thing. Although the Wolf King showed no weakness to fire, it seemed he didn't have magic resistance either. When the Wolf King attacked, Jiang Li dodged his attack and started casting Slowdown spell, thinking he should be capable of managing this. But before Jiang Li's spell could tie down the Wolf King, it jumped, and after escaping, it again attacked Jiang Li with very fast speed. Jiang's light armor stopped the Wolf King's attack and saved him. Seeing it, Jiang admitted that it's truly a boss. Jiang's shield nearly shattered, and even after casting the slow spell, its agility remained remarkable. Zhang Li knows that he needs to take action, so he aims at the Wolf King with his ice arrow. Vivi, who was a priest, cast her magic at Zhang Li, telling him that she would enhance his magical offensive power. After being enhanced, Zhang Li attacked the Wolf King, but the Wolf King easily dodged it, and seeing that, Vivi was shocked. But Zhang Li was aiming for it to dodge it and let down its guard. Then, he changed the ice arrow's trajectory and hit the back of the Wolf King's neck. A system notification came that Zhang Li had successfully struck a vulnerable spot, resulting in a critical hit. With that, the Wolf King lost most of its health, and only a little bit remained. Zhang Li told the Wolf King that he learned this technique from bosses like him. Now Zhang Li knows that the vulnerability of the wolf beast lies within its neck. As the Wolf King was not in good health, it roared loudly, and an annoying red aura came out of its body. Vivi told Zhang Li to watch out because the boss monster was going berserk, and suddenly many small gale wolves came out from behind to fight. Zhang Li was surprised to see those ruffians from earlier. Now he understands that this boss has the ability to summon lesser creatures. Seeing that the Blood Rune Wolf King has the ability to summon lesser creatures, Zhang Li gets ready to use his fireball spell. Vivi comes to assist him with her support magic. She tells Zhang to be careful and assists in slowing down gale wolves and replenishing Zhang Li's mana. As Zhang moves forward, all the gale wolves attack him from all directions. Zhang attacks them with his fireball spell. There is a huge explosion, and in that, most of the Blood Rune Wolf King's summoned gale wolves died, leaving behind only experience points. Zhang gains 20 experience points per gale wolf he kills. With Zhang Li's attack, the confined space of this cavern is revealed. Zhang smiles because now he knows that summoning a multitude of minions has inadvertently restricted the Blood Rune Wolf King's innate agility. Jiang calls the Blood Rune Wolf King, telling him that if he uses that skill once more, Jiang may temporarily spare his life. The Blood Rune Wolf King gets angry to hear that. He again roars and summons many lesser creatures to fight. Right after those gale wolves are summoned, Jiang Li jumps to attack them using his fireball spell, saying the right moment has come. After killing this batch of gale wolves, Zhang Li levels up. Currently, he is level 14. As time passes, Zhang Li continues killing the gale wolves and obtaining 20 experience points. Vivi also gains 10 experience points because she was Zhang's teammate at the moment. Vivi is very exhausted because she was continuously supporting Zhang Li with her magic as he was fighting the gale wolves for so long. After fighting for so long, Zhang again levels up and becomes level 15. He drinks a recovery potion, then asks the Blood Rune Wolf King to, let's go again. He casts his Ice Arrow's spell to fight, saying if he knew the boss had such abilities, why would he waste his time on lesser monsters? The Blood Rune Wolf King is very exhausted because it was continuously using its power to summon the lesser monsters. It was very shocked that all his minions vanished just like that. Seeing that the Blood Rune Wolf King is unable to summon more monsters, Zhang Li asks if this is his limit. Zhang sighs in disappointment because there is nothing he can do about it. Then he attacks the Blood Rune Wolf King with ice arrows, saying he will just have to reluctantly accept your last bit of value. Seeing the ice arrows coming its way, the Blood Rune Wolf King calls Zhang Li a devil. Before its death, the Blood Rune Wolf King cries for the first time in his life, saying Zhang is nothing but a devil. When it dies, suddenly Vivi gets a notification that she has leveled up. Now Vivi is level 21. She is surprised because even the search function she has leveled up. Zhang Li also levels up and becomes level 16. He gained 3 levels here and got lots of good loot. He is very happy with his win. It was very surprising for Vivi to see someone actually using the boss's summoning skill for experience. She starts to wonder who's the real boss here. When Jiang was collecting the loot, he asks Vivi to come here for a second. He gives her a wand as her share. Vivi is very shocked that it's for her, but she tells Jiang that she didn't do anything. So how can she accept it? Jiang tells her to accept it because didn't she help him restore his mana and increase his magic damage? This makes her an excellent support. He tells Vivi that if they encounter any danger, he will need her assistance. Hearing Zhang Li praise Vivi, she starts to blush. She accepts the wand, saying, "All right, support is my duty." From Zhang Li's words, it seems she is quite important to him, and this makes Vivi very happy. Then both of them start heading out. On the way, Zhang Li suddenly remembers that the boss just dropped 2 skill books, and he forgot to check the effects. He remembers they're called Lightness Spell and Swamp Womp Spell. With Jiang's skill effect, both of those skill books' level has maxed out. By checking the system, Jiang finds out that the lightness spell technique can increase one's movement speed. Now Jiang Li understands how the Wolf King could still move after his slowdown spell. The other skill, Swamp Spell, can ensnare multiple enemies at once. Jiang Li decides to try it when he gets the chance. While he was lost in his thoughts and was walking ahead, suddenly Vivi noticed something and called Jiang to take a look at it. The thing Vivi saw was Ghost Orchid, a purple-colored health herb. Vivi told Jiang Li that though it's not much use to professionals, for ordinary people, it's a top-grade medicinal herb that can cure all kinds of diseases, so they can make a fortune selling this. Vivi tames one and gives one to Jiang Li for his perfect herb. He thanked her and told her that his mother is an ordinary person. Years of hard work have left her with many chronic illnesses. So with this, he hopes to ease her pain a bit. Vivi was happy to hear that. But suddenly, she noticed something. Pointing at the wall behind, she asked Jiang Li to look quickly. That rock wall is glowing. After seeing that, Jiang Li notices there seems to be something inside. He gets ready to use the fireball spell, telling Vivi to step back a bit. He explodes that wall with his fireball spell. After that wall was destroyed, what comes to light is very shocking. Behind that dungeon wall is a dungeon secret realm. Jiang Li gets a system notification that he has discovered a level 25 Black Iron level dungeon secret realm. They discovered one of the 2 Dark Altar entrances. Its difficulty is hard, and entry is limited to professionals level 23 and below. 2 to 6 players can go in at one time. Vivi tells Jiang Li that it looks dangerous, so should they go back and prepare first, as long as they know the entrance's location. Before she could complete her words, Jiang Li intervened, saying, "No way." He told Vivi that if she feels it's dangerous, she can go back first, but if she is willing to follow him, then don't worry. He is here, and he will protect her. Vivi was very impressed with Jiang Li because what he said is good to hear. Vivi also got confident and agreed, saying she will do her best, and if they run into danger, she will buy Jiang Li time. With that, they entered the dungeon secret realm of Dark Altar. Their mission is to stop the Dark Mage Garubi's ritual. Hearing that it's a Dark Mage, Jiang Li realized that there's a high chance of dropping equipment related to mages. He runs fast, imagining what could be the loot, leaving behind Vivi. But suddenly, he saw something and grabbed Vivi's hand and hid behind a tree. Surprised, Vivi asked Jiang Li what happened all of a sudden. He asked her to look in front. Right in front of them was a level 20 skeleton knight riding a skeleton horse. Seeing that, Jiang Li realized that this dungeon is indeed not simple. Even the regular monsters are level 20, he smiled, saying the rewards from this dungeon must be extraordinary. Little did he know that right behind them 3 skeleton knights are standing, glaring at them. The skeleton knights ran towards them, shouting, "Outsiders!" Both Jiang Li and Vivi were too shocked and looked back. The skeleton knights attacked them, shouting, "Outsiders! Who do you think you're spying on?" Fortunately, these skeleton monsters aren't very intelligent, so they haven't launched a direct attack. Otherwise, Jiang Li wouldn't have been able to react in time. Jiang Li decided to try out a new move. He used his D-level swamp spell. This forms a swamp area with a radius of 30 meters in front. Enemies caught in the swamp area will be immobilized with their movement speed reduced by 90%. When he used the spell, the ground in front of Jiang Li turned into swamp. Those skeleton knights started to sink in that swamp without doing much. They struggled to come out, but as much as they tried, they sank more. Taking that opportunity, Jiang Li cast his fireball spell and finished off those level 20 skeleton knights in one attack. The full range of the fully upgraded swamp spell is surprisingly large. Now, when facing multiple enemies, Jiang Li won't have to deal with them one by one. He got another spell to fight groups of enemies. Suddenly, they heard someone screaming for help. Vivi was surprised, asking what was that. Could someone be fighting a boss? Jiang Li said, "It seems that other intruders have disturbed the Dark Mage." He told Vivi to wait here. He will go check it out. The one who screamed for help was Mo Qing with her 2 knight bodyguards. They were surrounded by skeleton knights. So Mo Qing's bodyguards asked her to use the teleportation scroll right now. But Mo Qing hesitated because they hadn't even defeated a single wild monster. The bodyguard told her not to worry about that. Her safety is the top priority. Suddenly, a skeleton knight attacked them, and seeing it, that bodyguard got scared. But when that skeleton knight was about to attack that bodyguard, suddenly Jiang Li appeared in front of them. Jiang Li immediately cast his light armor spell that stopped the skeleton knight's scythe. Mo Qing was shocked to see Jiang Li there. When the bodyguard heard Jiang Li's name from the academy, he remembered that Jiang Li and their Miss Mo Qing were in the same class. Realizing that Jiang Li just awakened a few days ago, he underestimated him. He called Jiang Li a kid, telling him that these monsters are beyond his beginner-level abilities and they can't waste time worrying about his life. Jiang Li said thank you for your concern, but you don't need to trouble yourselves. He cast the fireball spell and attacked those skeleton knights. When his fireball hit those skeleton knights, they immediately died, leaving 40 experience points for him. With this, Jiang Li finished off those skeleton knights and leveled up again. He became level 17. Mo Qing's bodyguards were too shocked that Jiang Li defeated them all with just one move. Mo Qing admits that it's truly impressive, but Mo Qing's bodyguards don't want to admit that they were saved by a level 17 kid. They told Mo Qing that they can do that too. They told Jiang Li to leave now because he is in the way, but Mo Qing is now confirmed that it's really Jiang Li. She wasn't wrong about him earlier. Surprised, Jiang Li doesn't recognize her and asks if she knows him, but looking closely, he remembers that she is Mo Qing, the genius girl who is on par with Li Moen. Seeing her bodyguard, he asks her if she is here to level up too. He advises her that this dungeon is quite challenging, so be careful. Mo Qing's bodyguards get angry to hear Jiang Li advise them. They told Jiang Li not to get too cocky. They already weakened those monsters. And Jiang Li is just finishing the job they started. They told him that they are elite members of the Black Iron rank, so he doesn't need to worry about them. Seeing them behave like that, Jiang Li said if there's nothing else, he will go on his way. Well, he was thinking that these people struggle even with small monsters, so he understands that they probably won't be able to compete for boss loot with him. But Mo Qing asks Jiang Li to wait, saying, Jiang Li, you are probably not Black Iron rank yet. Jiang Li doesn't understand why she is asking that, so he tells her that he is already level 17. It shouldn't take long. Mo Qing is too shocked that Jiang Li reached level 17 in just a few days and with such strength. She is very curious about how he pulled that off. She takes out a green pendant and tells Jiang Li that she actually has a favor to ask. Could he help her clear this dungeon? She takes out a yellow gem from that pendant, telling Jiang Li that the reward is this Black Iron promotion gem. It might be useful for him. Jiang Li starts to blush seeing the place she took out that pendant. He thought, is this pendant a storage item? It must be expensive. Well, he was looking at the pendant, I swear. But Mo Qing gets embarrassed when she sees him staring at her. She turns around and covers herself, asking Jiang if he could please stop staring at it. Jiang Li is confused because he doesn't have an idea what she is talking about. Well, Jiang Li knows that to reach Black Iron rank, one either needs to face the Black Iron trial or directly use the promotion gem. These are the two methods, but promotion gems are rare and costly, usually not worth using. But Jiang Li thought that considering his leveling speed, he will reach level 20 before the dungeon ends. So if he doesn't get promoted to Black Iron rank, the extra experience will go to waste. Thinking all that, Jiang Li said, Mo Qing, I can help you, but you'll need to ask them to leave first. I don't want to share the experience with too many people. When Mo Kung's bodyguards hear that, they get too angry, asking Jiang Li what did he say. They told him not to be so arrogant just because he is a little strong. Another bodyguard told Mo Qing that they won't let her follow this person. She knows that if this gets out that they were unable to protect their client, how can they continue as bodyguards? Mo Qing told them that it's boring being with them. She told them to leave now, saying it's an order. The male bodyguard said that since Mo Qing insists, they will leave, but she should at least let them test Jiang Li's strength first. He points his sword at Jiang Li, shouting, Show us what you've got. Let's see what you can do. Jiang Li smiles and makes a fireball, saying, Since you want to test me, then get ready, because I won't hold back. He makes that fireball very big, telling Mo Qing's bodyguard that his fireball might be slightly oversized, so they please bear with it for a brief moment. Seeing the size of the fireball, that bodyguard questions himself. Can a mere beginner-level mage conjure up such a fireball? As Jiang Li's fireball comes near, tears come to that bodyguard's eyes, knowing that this is the end. But right before hitting the bodyguard, Jiang Li stops his fireball, saying, Let's leave it at that. Let's call it quits here. He warns the bodyguards that if they still want to continue, he won't stop them. That bodyguard laughs and takes back his sword, saying, Jiang Li, your abilities are commendable, although slightly weaker than ours. Clearing such a dungeon shouldn't be a problem. Well, they don't want to show themselves weak. but inside they know they are lucky that Jiang Li didn't act. Otherwise, they might have been in real peril. They greet Mo Qing, saying, "Miss, we will take our leave then. Take care of yourself." After they left, Jiang Li took Mo Qing to Vivi. While walking, Vivi told Jiang Li that she has waited for him for so long. She asks him to please take her with him next time because she was really scared. Jiang Li tells her he will try his best. Seeing Vivi being all touchy with Jiang Li, Mo Qing gets jealous. She is curious to know what their relationship is because she hasn't heard that Jiang Li has a girlfriend. Thinking all that, Mo Qing approaches Vivi first, saying, "Sister, I'm still unsure of how to address you. My name is Mo Qing, and I'm in the same class as Jiang Li." Vivi smiles and asks Mo Qing to just call her Vivi. To Mo Qing, Vivi and Jiang Li seem quite close, and that makes her jealous. So she hugs him from behind, saying, "Jiang Li, I have something to discuss with you." Vivi is surprised by Mo Qing's sudden behavior. Mo Qing asks him that she has heard his awakening process was somewhat troubled. Jiang Li says yes. "I'm merely an ordinary mage, but it's not like you have to be a special profession to become strong, right?" He tells Mo Qing he has his own way to get strong. Then a moment later, Jiang Li, using his lightness spell, moves very fast, and with a fireball spell, he starts killing the skeleton knights. As he was getting many experience points from killing the level 20 skeleton knights, he again levels up and becomes level 18. Mo Qing and Vivi were watching from the bushes, amazed to see him. Mo Qing asks Vivi, "Has Jiang Li always been like this?" Vivi tells her that it startled her at first as well when she saw him fight. Mo Qing was very curious because from what she can see, all the skills Jiang Li uses are beginner level, so why is he so strong? While they were thinking all that, suddenly, a level 27 skeleton knight commander comes there. He looks very powerful as he was emitting a very dark aura. Jiang Li was surprised to see that this dungeon has other bosses. He casts Swamp Spell, and that skeleton knight commander, and all the other skeleton knights start to sink in that swamp. Jiang Li was confident, saying, "No matter how many come, it's all the same. As long as I use control skills well, these skeletons are no threat to me." But it was a mistake from Jiang's side. He should not underestimate his enemies. The skeleton knight commander uses his skill, and suddenly, the shadow of the skeleton knight commander's horse comes out of its body and directly hits Jiang Li in the stomach. Jiang Li goes flying and hits a tree behind with a solid impact. Both Vivi and Mo Qing are shocked to see that because Jiang Li got hit, his swamp spell disappears, and the skeleton knight commander and other skeleton knights get free from it. They run towards Vivi and Mo Qing to attack. Vivi tells Mo Qing to go save Jiang Li while she distracts them. Even though Mo Qing is so scared, she still wants to fight the skeleton knight commander. Suddenly, an ice arrow comes and hits the skeleton knight commander. It was Jiang Li. Seeing him, Mo Qing asks if he is all right. Well, it was a good thing. The lightness spell that Jiang Li cast before hadn't ended yet. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been just a minor injury. Jiang Li didn't expect that the skeleton knight commander would have long-range attack methods. Seeing him injured, Vivi comes to heal him using her spell. Without wasting time, those skeleton knights with their commander attack Jiang, and his party, who is a priest, starts praying. "The glow of holy light, bless my allies, shroud the enemy in vulnerability, intensify our assault," she said. With her power, a huge holy light appeared in the sky. In front of her spell, those skeleton knights were unable to approach them. Mo Qing told Jiang Li that this is the perfect moment to use group attack magic. Jiang Li said he got it and uses the lightning arc spell. His lightning arc spell becomes more powerful and hits all the skeleton knights and their commander. Jiang Li was too shocked to see that the damage has increased. Vivi was surprised to see the blessing of holy light. She explains that this blessing allows allies within its range to inflict holy attribute damage, and it afflicts the enemy with vulnerability and blindness. At this moment, allies' attacks on the enemy will increase several times over. Being able to use this skill means Mo Qing's profession is a special profession, Holy Priest. With this damage increase, vulnerability, blindness, they all are its effects. After a few seconds, Jiang Li's lightning arc spell's paralysis effect is removed from the skeleton knight commander. He stands up again to attack. Seeing it coming, Jiang Li asks Mo Qing to use that blessing again. Mo Qing immediately gets to it, and Vivi uses her spell to increase Jiang Li's magic damage. Jiang Li tells both of them to be careful because that skeleton knight commander is coming towards them at high speed. It reaches Jiang Li in the blink of an eye, and raises its scythe to attack him.